Hey everybody, Rick Needham, just talking about horse racing in general extemporaneously, off the cuff, and some not so kind comments about some decisions that were made recently at Penn National Racecourse for their Kentucky Derby Day festivities. I've been involved in horse racing for a long time, making my first my first visit to a thoroughbred track when I was 18 years old at Belmont Park in Elmont, New York, and somehow horse racing has followed me no matter where I've lived. As I would go to college in South Carolina at Clemson, I would often stop off at Timonium or Bowie or Laurel Park on my trips back and forth from Connecticut to South Carolina. I took a teaching position in Greenfield, Massachusetts, and across the river in New Hampshire there was a harness track called Hinsdale, which I believe is now a dog track. I moved to South America to teach in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, lived across the street from Jockey Clube Brasileiro in the Gavia section of Rio. Back to the United States, moving to Pennsylvania, Penn National opens up a off-track wagering facility, which was walking distance from my house in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. I then moved to Palo Alto, California for 5 years, lived within 3 miles of Bay Meadows Racecourse in San Mateo. Back to Pennsylvania, Penn National once again, within 3 miles of where I lived. I know a lot about the sport. I've been very, very supportive of horse racing in any possible manner that I could think of, but recently, with the new Penn National racecourse and casino, which by the way was given a license to promote horse racing. In fact, when they were having the hearings about opening a possible casino in Gettysburg, about 50 miles south of here, I spoke at that hearing, noting that I had absolutely nothing against gambling or a casino in Gettysburg, but since this facility, the decision to open casino gambling in Pennsylvania was to help horse racing, a lot of the patrons that are now visiting Penn National here in Grantville, PA, would find it a lot more convenient to stop off at the casino in Gettysburg rather than driving an extra hour north. Well, fortunately, the hearing panel agreed with me and with a lot of other people who were talking about horse racing, not just about gambling, but about horse racing, and Penn National has the isolated casino, and it made some incredible improvements to the horse racing area as well. Over the course of the past 10 years, myself and a group of friends have been going to Penn National for the Triple Crown events and also the Breeders' Cup, and just had one heck of a good time. Would get there about 11 o'clock in the morning for their first races at Churchill Downs, eat their buffet, drink beer or whatever, mint juleps, and just have a fabulous time, also staying for the races in the evening, which followed the Triple Crown events. We were very good tippers. We treated our waiter or waitresses very well. In fact, I would say that we were outstanding tippers. We just had a great time. When the new facility opened about a month ago, I made a visit on a Saturday evening, and the hostess, who, believe it or not, even though she's known me for 10 years, still calls me Mr. Needham, came over and said, "Mr. Needham, you want to reserve your table for your 10 to 12 guests as you always do?" And I said, "Of course, I'd love to reserve the table." So I reserved a table for myself and 9 or 10 other buddies, and we're planning on having another great Kentucky Derby Day. About 3 weeks ago, I get a phone call from the person who runs the beautiful restaurant at Penn National Racecourse, just making sure that I was going to keep my reservation. I said, "Of course, we've been doing it for 10, 12 years. The same group will be there. We'll see you about 11 o'clock. He says, "Oh, well, Mr. Needham, I had to tell you this, but we're not going to open our restaurant until 4, which kind of stunned me. And he said, "By the way, there's no regular menu. We're going to have a buffet," which is great. They've had a buffet there for a while. That's the only food that we'll be serving in the restaurant on Derby Day, and you have to pay for it in advance. Really, really stunned me about this turn of events. So I kept the reservation. I called my friends up. 10 of them have canceled. Why do we have to pay for something in advance without deciding if we even wanted to eat? Or how about if the buffet was not good? I'm sure it'll be great. It's going to be a disaster at Penn National. I've changed my mind, and I think I'm going to go. Maybe if it's only just to watch and observe what happens. If you kind of agree with me, what I'd like you to do, if possible, would be to go to the Penn National website, which is www.pnrc.com. When you get to their main page on the left-hand side, you'll see a little link that says Contact Us. Maybe you can just write an email saying that you agree or disagree. You can disagree with the decision to open the restaurant at 4 p.m. on one of the most important racing days of the year. Obviously not supporting the horse players who want to be out there at 11. If you disagree and you think it's a great idea, write them that as well. It's Rick Needham. Have a great Kentucky Derby. I'm going to have a great one too, but not in the fashion that I would have been used to doing. Sorry for venting, but this is a great way of talking about things that you're not familiar with on YouTube, and I hope that some of you will contact Penn National and note your displeasure with their decisions on Derby Day. Thanks.